definitely not gonna give them that. I'm a diehard fan, and I understand it's hard to win out, man. It's hard, but if you need to me the key wins that you definitely need is for sure over. You need wins over the Vikings, the Rams. I would love to see him win back over Atlanta. You got Tampa Bay thrown back in the mix. You're gonna probably need that for divisional reasons, and you're gonna need wins over Carolina. At least split with Carolina this year, and possibly Pittsburgh. That's another playoff game if you ask me. So we at the 5 mark. To me, you need another good 7 or 6 games to solidify yourself this year. Because even when a lot of these tiebreakers are starting to show up, comes gonna mean something like how Minnesota have a tiebreaker with the Packers. So that's gonna kind of mean something later on in the year. So I'm interested to see how it's gonna work out this year. So I'm excited for New Orleans, and I'm gonna give my prediction. I got the Saints winning 28-24, and a revenge game for the last 2 times that they've been up there in Minnesota. So that's what I'm thinking on that note. So let's move on. I'm gonna be out of here. Let's talk about the college football games I got this weekend. Two primetime games I'm thinking that's gonna be legit. I will say my first one will be involved with the SEC East. Will be Georgia and Florida. Two teams that trying to fight in the SEC East to stay to try to have a chance to go play for the SEC title this year. I think that's really in a good spot. Now, the thing about it is, if you ask me, that Kentucky is right there knocking at the door in the SEC East. They really truly right. Actually, right now they are over Florida and Georgia. They actually leading the conference. Now I know Kentucky have a date with Georgia next week, and they already have a win over Florida from a few weeks ago. So some of these games starting to mean a lot. And if Georgia win and they have to play Kentucky, that will be your SEC champs from there right there next week. So out of Florida, I think because how it will work, I think if Florida wins and if Kentucky Georgia will definitely be eliminated. But if Kentucky definitely wins, Kentucky gonna get the tiebreaker. And they win out from there. Kentucky gonna go to the SEC championship game. Something I want to see somebody different, somebody different in the East. Because it seems like everybody else can make it in the East, except you see teams like Vanderbilt and Kentucky that can't get up there to the SEC championship game. And then number 12 ranked team in the country. Then they play Georgia at home. So they're looking at a golden opportunity the following week. But between this one, I think Georgia, who had a week off from their last loss that they had with LSU, they know how important it is right now. Because one thing I want to talk about before I go on to Texas and Oklahoma State is that right now the highest one-loss team right now is LSU, and that's no shocker. Then you have Michigan, you have Texas, you have Georgia, Oklahoma, and Florida with 1 losses, and then between that you have UCF. Now, sad to say how I look at, especially because there's too many setup games that's going to mess UCF over. What if Ohio State comes back, and let's just say LSU do lose. Michigan moves up in the top 4 somehow, some way, and then in that way of moving in the top 4, Ohio State beat Michigan, then the voters going to have to vote again. So there's so many scenarios, and I feel bad for UCF because I don't think UCF going to be able to get in. It's just too many setups on schedules that's going to mess them over down the line. So this Florida and Georgia, somebody going to move up and get into the highest spot for the playoffs to try to make a run close for the playoffs. Kentucky as well. If Kentucky can defeat Georgia, let's just say Georgia wins, Kentucky beat Georgia. Let's just say Texas lose this week. And then the following week, Kentucky handle their business. You never know. What if LSU wins, Notre Dame loses? Do you put LSU and Kentucky in the top 5, in the top 4? 2 SEC schools, because Alabama going to fall if they lose to LSU. Now, how far they're going to probably move as far back to probably 5 or 6. But if you can't knock what Kentucky is doing, if they defeat Georgia and they be the heads of the SEC East, it's a lot of what else when you start thinking about it. And I know we're a long way from home because LSU plays next week, but there's a lot of big matchups. I think the 2 biggest matchups, like I said, is going to be Georgia and Florida and Oklahoma State and Texas. This is the best Texas has been in a long time. And I know the buzz around college football, it's good to see Texas back in this mix, especially when I start thinking about next year where LSU got to go to Texas next year. So that makes that schedule of strength a little hard for both teams. So I like where they're at. But it's a lot right now. Let's talk about Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, this is something big, man. This program haven't been in this spot in a long time. Something real, real big. I think they're going to be very, very excited this weekend. I think Oklahoma State want to prove something, get themselves back in the mix. But this is going to be a great game this weekend it's going to be a great weekend for college football. Great weekend for college football. So y'all just be ready, be prepared. I hope y'all got your popcorn ready. Because it's going to be a good weekend for sports this weekend, guys. On that note, this is the Friday Report. Welcome to Third Ground. Thank y'all for listening. I know I went a little live. It ain't my best performance. I know it's not. But I had it on my heart that I had to get it out of my system. So we'll be back Monday looking back over what happened. We'll look at possibly what happened with who played on Monday night, the Pacers and the Bills. Talk maybe a little aftermath after this weekend with the World Series. It might be over after this weekend because I don't think let's put it like this: if the Dodgers don't win tonight, yeah, we're gonna be out of here. We're not gonna be here long. We're not gonna be here long at all. Love you guys. Be back on Monday. Peace.